get it. Is it red?
Yes.
I'm Gene Simmons, and this is real.
Gene, thank you so much. You're putting a lot of people's mind. Hi, my name is Pat C. I am a huge collector of autographed memorabilia, particularly music memorabilia. I started off as a kid collecting baseball cards, hockey cards, and while they were fun to kind of handle, for the most part they sat in my closet, and I didn't really get much enjoyment out of them. Therefore, as I got older and I started making more money, I started transitioning to autographed memorabilia that I could get framed and display and actually get some enjoyment out of. Most recently, I've been collecting music memorabilia. I get most of it from a very good source. We'll call him JD. I met him through some people that knew of him. He has some of the best stuff on the market, but we'll kind of get to that in just a few minutes. When I started collecting autographed music memorabilia, I started off with Kiss memorabilia because Kiss was my favorite band, and I've always really liked Gene Simmons and Ace Frehley. And I purchased some stuff from a company called Autographed America. They're an internet company, and they're as fraudulent as they come. I spent a couple $1,000s. Over time, I realized that their stuff was fake, and I have no one to blame but myself, because when it comes to buying autographed memorabilia, really the only person you can trust is yourself, and you really need to do your homework, do your research on the style of the autographs, the era that the autographs came from, because people's autographs change over time, as well as get to know the dealer. That's very important. Find out where they got the stuff, how they obtained it, and see if it makes sense. In the case of Brian Burke, who owns Autographed America, none of it makes sense, and quite clearly the stuff was fake. Had I had any common sense at all at the time, I would have realized that I was getting ripped off. But because I did get ripped off, it made me a much more careful and conscientious buyer, which allowed me to not get ripped off in the future. So when I came across this one person, JD, he had a lot of stuff, particularly from Kiss. Most of his Kiss stuff came from the early Kiss convention years, and he acquired it through persons like Danny Stanton, some other individuals that were beneficiaries of the Vinny Gonzales collection. Vinny was very close friends with the band and had quite a collection. The band members loved Vinny like a brother, and they would sign just about anything for him. And they did sign an awful lot for him. And at a later date, he ended up selling much of his collection off for reasons that I won't get into, but he wanted to use the money to try to help out a girlfriend that he had, and unfortunately he ended up selling a lot of it to individuals who would later sell it at the Kiss conventions. This may sound very unfortunate for Vinny. However, the beneficiaries are really Kiss collectors, because when you get a hold of the Vinny stuff, it's the best stuff on the market, and it's there's a decent supply of it. However, it's tougher to come by because the persons that really have it at this point have been removed from eBay or other outlets due to the third-party authentication companies that have a heavy influence with Jonathan Gonzales, who's the head of the safety department with eBay. eBay, as we know, has really changed the autographed memorabilia market, and celebrities don't even really like to sign anymore because they know that people flip their autographs. This wasn't so in the time when my friend really started collecting, and he was able to acquire just a tremendous collection from many of my favorite artists because of One is passion to collect. He started off collecting things when he was very young, and then he continued on collecting a lot of autographed music memorabilia because he had connections in the music industry due to some relatives of his. Because of this, it became a passion of his. He would follow bands around and he would get things autographed. And this was an era when the artists didn't mind signing stuff for their fans. In fact, they enjoyed it. Some of them enjoyed it. And they weren't concerned about it getting flipped on eBay because eBay wasn't really like it is today. In fact, in this day that we're talking about, eBay was really non-existent. However, today we know things have changed. You can't get autographs unless you do a meet and greet like I just recently did with Kiss on August 10th, 2012. That's really the only way to get autographs from the celebrities anymore, unless you purchase them through eBay or through some sort of internet store, which I'd be very careful of. To make a long story short, I purchased a lot of stuff from this person, JD, and it's beautiful stuff. The Vinny Gonzales stuff is the best it gets. I've had many of the items framed and hanging on my walls, and I enjoy them. Every time I go into the rooms where they're displayed. Extra items that I had, I would sell on eBay, and I wouldn't sell them on eBay so much for profit, but to share them with other people because they're so special. I hate to think of things getting hoarded and stuffed into a closet and not enjoyed. However, that came to a halt. Just a little bit of history. I am a professional. I work for a major corporation in the Valley, and I make good money. And I don't rely on eBay or any other avenue to make money other than just my job. My wife and I together do just fine, and we're very comfortable. I transition memorabilia, if you will, really for the fun of it because I love it. It's a passion of mine, and I just find I get a lot of enjoyment out of it during my spare time. Well, eBay to me was supposed to be fun, and I would sell. I started off selling a lot of things that my son would grow out of, and just things that we wouldn't use, books, just simple things like anyone else did. And then as I transitioned into autographed memorabilia, as I would come across or as I would accumulate doubles, a lot of times I would sell off the doubles because what I would do is I would buy albums, and I would buy the same album hoping that the next one that I bought would be in better condition than the previous one so I could get it framed, and then I'd have 2 or 3 of the same album, so I'd get rid of the second and third album that weren't in quite as nice a condition as the ultimate album that I got framed. So I ended up with a lot of doubles doing that. Consequently, I would sell them on eBay, and I ended up with, I had over a 500 user rating, which isn't huge, but it's decent, and I had 100% user satisfaction from all my customers, and everything was going just fine, and I was having a lot of fun doing it. Although it was tough to keep up with all the packaging and whatnot, it still was fun. Unfortunately, on one day 6 months ago, in February, my eBay, I had 2 accounts. One was Vision 235, and the other was, I believe I had it, posters and photos. And I was mainly selling Kiss memorabilia off both those. A few other items that I was able to acquire from my friend JD. And they closed both accounts down, eBay did, and they removed all my listings, and they also contacted all my previous buyers and asked them to open disputes against me, requesting the money back because what I was selling to them was fraudulent. Now, I've already mentioned this, I can't mention enough, the best person or persons to determine if a dealer is good or not is really the buyers themselves. They typically have a tendency to educate themselves and know more about the items than Jonathan Gonzales, who's the head of the safety and trust department with eBay. He has such a large scope, there's no way he could be an expert in all areas. And as you'll find out, he relies on third-party authenticators to provide him input. Well, what we believe happened is these third-party authenticators, or Mike Hoppy, who owns the World of Autographs, provides input to Jonathan Gonzales, and Jonathan Gonzales will take that input and perform actions based off of it. Well, he must have got some pretty heavy input from those individuals, or at least one of them that he really trusts, because Jonathan Gonzales abolished me to the point where I was so upset I was scared to open my email, because it was devastating, because I was having so many people upset with me because eBay told them that I was selling fraudulent items. And I knew in my heart that they were good. I had done so much, I'd had so many discussions and done so much business with this JD. I knew that he knew things no one could ever know, and he had access, and everything he had ever told me had turned out to be the truth. And in my heart of hearts, I believed everything was 100% legitimate. Well, just to educate you a little bit, Jonathan Gonzales has a tremendous amount of scope. The autographed memorabilia business creates a tremendous amount of money for eBay and PayPal. PayPal is owned by eBay, and PayPal was created for eBay. And as you know, PayPal, for each transaction that's done, there's money that they receive on those transactions, and almost every transaction has to be done through PayPal. So eBay's created a money monster, to say the least, and it's grown so much that I don't know if they've put good practices and policies into place. Basically, in my situation, what we believe happened was I was selling some items that were good. I had a very good customer base of people that were very happy, that loved the stuff, and all of a sudden I was abolished, and eBay told past buyers the stuff I was selling was fake, and they needed to open disputes against me. They completely abolished me. They froze my PayPal accounts, and they've held over $1,500 of mine for over 6 months with no interest or anything along those lines, because they said I violated their user agreements, which they wouldn't clarify. In fact, when I called eBay right after it happened, they basically told me, Mr. C, thank you very much for your 5 years of doing business on eBay. We appreciate your business. This was done at the highest levels of eBay. Nothing can be reversed. And thank you very much, and good luck in your future endeavors. So long, and they hung up the phone. I found it to be very rude, especially in light of what they had just done to me, and they wouldn't offer me an explanation of what happened at all. I called back a second time using a different approach, got almost the same exact reply from them, almost as if it was off a script, and I talked to a different person. When I contacted PayPal about freezing my assets, they basically told me I violated their user agreement, and they're entitled to hold my funds for 6 months. And thank you very much. Don't ever use PayPal for anything in the future. You're basically abolished from PayPal. Pretty rough treatment for law-abiding citizens such as myself, who has never been in trouble with the law, and I just do this for fun. I can tell you one thing, that wasn't fun at all, going through that with eBay and PayPal. Now, fast forwarding. Well, actually, just one other thing to talk about regarding that. Jonathan Gonzales relies on third-party authenticators such as PSA, JSA, PAAS. They're headed up by people like Mike Frost, Stephen Grad, Roger Epperson, just to name a few. Well, these people are authenticators that developed companies that were supposed to clean up the autographed memorabilia market, particularly sports memorabilia, and instead they've actually made it a lot worse, and they've made it a lot more complicated. What you find is they sell stuff on the side through their own internet companies, and they can authenticate their own stuff, and they can sell it. And they can also have an input to Jonathan Gonzales, who relies heavily on their input, and they can abolish good distributors, good sellers like you and I, just by providing a little email to Jonathan that, we're suspect. it's very disheartening. It's very corrupt, and it kind of reminds me of the days of the mob. I didn't realize that eBay could be thrown into a term like the mob, but you find when you've got a lot of power and you're being manipulated by criminals, if you will, that's effectively what it is. And good people pay the consequences, unfortunately. That kind of brings me to my next point, which is I always knew the stuff was good, and my customers eventually, even though they filed claims against me, all of them dropped them. And once I had a chance to talk to them and explain the situation, what I thought happened, and put their mind at ease, they were fine with the stuff. And most of them said, I thought it looked good. I didn't want to open a dispute. I just opened a dispute because eBay told me to. So that all worked itself out, even though it was very difficult. Took a lot of my time, my free time to resolve. But just to kind of solidify what my thoughts were, my friend took a couple of the items that we got from JD, and we sent them to a company in Las Vegas that does authentication for a TV show that you might know. It's Pawn Stars. And 6 of the items got sent there, and all of them came back good. These were items that were rejected by PAAS, i.e. Michael Frost, who said that Mr. Epperson told him that they've got to be fake, and Mike Frost said they're likely fake, charged the customer anyway for everything that he looked at, and basically said all of it was fake. Well, it came back from this authentication company that also does stuff from the FBI that all 6 items were great. They passed no problem. Well, just to further validate, I took an album and a poster that I got from JD that I actually had posted on eBay when I got kicked off eBay. And I took them to the concert with me the other night on August 10th, 2012 at a meet and greet package with my son. And I showed them to Gene after Gene got finished autographing a few paintings, a few custom paintings that I had made. I asked him, are these good signatures? And without hesitation, he said, yes, those are good signatures. Those are my signatures, and those are the other band members. He could tell just from looking at them that they were good. It was a Love Gun album, and it was a Return of Kiss poster, both signed in gold Sharpie. I asked Gene if we could videotape him saying that they were good, and he said, sure, not a problem. So I've got Gene on videotape pointing to the items, and these are good items, which was very nice. It was very nice of him. I wasn't sure, at meet and greets, you don't get a lot of time to spend with the celebrities or artists, and Gene was very accommodating. So you're going to see some video of that, and then you're going to see that followed by a video where I more clearly show the 2 items that I took and showed to Gene, just so you can use them for reference. In closing, the thing that I'll say is both sellers and buyers beware. Sellers, because eBay doesn't have a good process in place for monitoring what's good and what's not good, and they rely on third-party authenticators. It doesn't matter how well you do with your customers. It really just depends on the authenticators and whether they don't like you or not. They don't like your stuff, they can have you removed because Jonathan Gonzales literally is just a puppet, and they just play him as they see fit. This could cause some problems with eBay because I do see some class action lawsuits probably coming from this, but we'll deal with that in the future. Also, sellers beware, because I monitor particularly Kiss items on eBay all the time. I just love to look and see what's on there, and 90% of it is fake. There are some good dealers out there. There's some good Ace Frehley autographs that are out there. Most of the stuff signed by all 4 members, I would question it, and I'd be really careful and make sure you get a good explanation from the person that's selling it and where they got it. Anyway, that's all that I have to say. Thank you very much for your time.
You get it. Is it red?
Yes.
I'm Gene Simmons, and this is real.
Gene, thank you so much. You're putting a lot of people's mind.
My name is Pat C. I had an opportunity to go to the concert last night. It was Kiss and Motley Crue. My son and I had VIP meet and greet package where we had an opportunity to meet the band. Besides meeting the band and getting a lot of autographs, I had an opportunity to talk to the band members, specifically Gene, regarding some memorabilia that I've purchased from one of my favorite persons. We'll just call him JD. Here is a video of the items that I showed to Gene, which you can clearly see in the video that I took of Gene, that my son took actually, of Gene holding the memorabilia. But here's a better picture of what we had him look at. This is the Love Gun album that I brought. You can see it in the video. It was in plastic to protect it. It was very hot in there, and but you can more clearly see the autographs. They're the style that came from the Vinnie Gonzales collection. And as soon as I presented them to Gene, I asked him if those were good autographs, and he said, absolutely. He said, that's my autograph. The other item that I took was the Return of Kiss poster. And again, it was in plastic to help protect it. But again, I asked Gene if that was a good autograph from him, and he clearly said that it was. Again, this came from the Vinnie Gonzales collection. Some of the other items that we received at the concert that we got autographed, just to show that we were in fact there. This was a photograph that was autographed by the band last night. You can see Tommy and Eric's signature on those items, and you can see all four signatures on this particular item. But anyway, that kind of sums up what I wanted to convey. The stuff that I've been getting from my buddy JD is good stuff. It's as good as it gets.
Do you get it? Is it red?
Yes.
I'm Gene Simmons, and this is real.
Gene, thank you so much. You're putting a lot of people